Welcome to Revive the Ummah podcast. This is your host, Sabina Rosegold. I thought I'd do a proper introduction to my dear friend Fareed Khan because he will be a frequent guest on this show, inshallah. Today's topic of discussion is manufacturing Islamophobia, and I want to dedicate a whole series to this subject of Islamophobia and racism in the West because it is a very important discussion that I think we need to be having in order to be aware of the type of mechanisms that are at play. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Fareed Khan, he is the founder of the group Canadians United Against Hate.
Fareed Khan with Canadians United Against Hate.
Fareed Khan.
Is Fareed Khan.
Fareed Khan.
With us now, founder of Canadians United Against Hate, Fareed Khan.
Fareed Khan, the founder of Canadians United Against Hate. Mr. Khan, I know you.
Fareed Khan, he's with Canadians United Against Hate.
Khan says this sets a bad example. Khan says voters shouldn't.
Fareed Khan wonders if things would be different if Jaleel were white.
Welcome to Revive the Ummah podcast. I have with me Fareed Khan, founder of Canadians United Against Hate. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here.
I just want to say congratulations on your Substack. It's been going somewhat viral.
All I know is that there's a lot of people reading my content, and this one is particularly timely because as of yesterday, we are 1 month away from the 25th anniversary of 9/11. And the 25th anniversary is likely going to be marked by specials, by extended media coverage, by political statements where people are going to be referencing and the thing is that Islamophobia...
Right, capitalize on 9/11 as much as you can.
Exactly.
Right.
And what we're going to see, at least my prediction is what we're going to see in the days leading up to September 11th, is all kinds of media specials and political commentary about it, which is going to, fuel the Islamophobia fire that's raging across the U.S. and certainly to a certain extent in Canada.
I'd have to agree with you on that prediction. They need that renewed spirit of anti-Muslim hate or whatever you want to call it, prejudice, right? Mm-hmm. I don't like to say anti-Muslim hate. I don't know why.
Well, actually, you're not wrong in using that term. There is anti-Muslim hate. And I pointed out in my article, particularly within certain segments of the political class, and all of them Republican practically, we saw it explode with the New York City mayoral campaign when Zoran Mamdani was running, and then after he got elected mayor. We've seen it for years in the U.S., against Congressional Representative Rashida Tlaib, who is of Palestinian descent, and Ilhan Omar, who is Somali, born outside the U.S. but is a naturalized American, and both of them have been targeted for not only their faith, but also because of the fact that they support justice for Palestinians. And now we saw it most recently against Dr. Abdul El Sayed, who won the Democratic primary in Michigan. And of course, as soon as he got to the nomination, what did the Republicans focus in on? Not his policies, not his political stances, but on his faith.
Right. So that's American politics. American politics obviously is very...
Toxic?
Yes, toxic is precisely a very good term. But I mean, politics in general is toxic, but American politics is much more different than Canadian. America is right now at war with multiple Muslim nations and also at war with Russia. They are fighting wars on multiple fronts, and whether they're, proxy wars or whatever people want to call it, America is a nation at war with a nation that doesn't want, and a population that doesn't want to be at war.
Well, it's also at war with itself. Internally, because there are very strong elements within American society who oppose Donald Trump's fascist politics and the fascist politics of the Republican Party.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we're talking about the U.S., but U.S. politics impacts Canada as well.
Of course.
It impacts Canadian politics because the 2017 mosque shooting in Quebec City was inspired by, the shooter was inspired by Donald Trump's anti-Muslim rhetoric. The stabbing of the Muslim volunteer outside of a Toronto mosque in September 2020, that was also inspired by online hate, and the attack against the Muslim family in London, Ontario in June 2021, once again inspired by online Muslim hate, a lot of it coming out of the United States.
Yeah, I definitely feel like we're obviously impacted. I feel Canada, and a lot of people say this, Canada and USA are just one. We're tied to the hip. So whatever politics. They're involved with, it's going to have a trickle effect into Canadian society as well. We've definitely been affected, and there is a growing sentiment of prejudice, and I feel like this is a renewal of animosity towards the Muslim community.
Generally speaking, I think the vast majority of Muslims don't feel the hate every day. I think certainly there's a lot of it online. But the thing is, the anti-Muslim sentiment runs very deep in Canada. And I'll refer to you to a 2023 poll done by Angus Reid, which found that roughly a third of Canadians have a negative impact or negative perception of Muslims. And in Quebec, that number jumps to 59%. I reference it in some of my writings. If you want to take a look at my Substack, Fareed Khan, The View From Here, you can look back at some of the things that I've written, and I cite some of these facts. There's links to the statistics that I reference. So there is an underlying sentiment of Islamophobia, and it's certainly there within our political class and within our media class, and that is evident through the way that, for example, over the last 3 years, the genocide in Gaza has been portrayed, where, for example, our government and even our national media have still refused to use the word genocide to describe what's happening in Gaza after 3 years of atrocities, despite the fact that multiple international human rights organizations, the International Association of Genocide Scholars, Israeli Holocaust scholars, the UN, and of course the almost 24 countries that have joined South Africa's genocide case at the International Court of Justice. This all says that genocide is taking place, and yet Canada and our political class and our corporate class refuse to use the word genocide. And so that tells me, and because over 90% of Palestinians and Muslims, it's not just a Palestinian genocide, it's a Muslim genocide. And the fact that they refuse to use that word tells me that we have a very deep and profound and embedded anti-Muslim and anti-Palestinian sentiment in our elites, among our elites.
Yes, and I have to completely agree with you on that. It's definitely obvious in the framing of the media, major mainstream media outlets, and how they frame the stories and headlines as well. And there's a blackout on the term genocide for sure. I think that Muslims in the West need to stop being naive. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you was, should Muslims put faith in political leaders, local MPs, to represent and hear the needs of our communities and our concerns? And do you think Muslims should get involved in politics, like how you mentioned how that individual in Michigan was elected, right?
Yeah.
So
well, he's not elected yet. He got the Democratic. He won the Democratic primary.
Okay.
The election is in November.
Okay.
And he's running against a Republican who, as soon as Dr. Abdul El-Sayed, as soon as he was nominated for the Democratic nomination, the first comment that the Republican candidate made was not about his policies, but about his faith.
Right. And it's the same thing with Mr. Mamdani there.
Yes.
Right? And I think what they're scared of is because of Mamdani and what he's doing. Because I saw a phenomenal video of Mamdani that he put out. It was so well done. It was a speech that he delivered.
Was that the one about
arresting
Netanyahu?
Yes,
yeah.
That one's gone viral, right?
Millions of views.
Yeah, it's gone viral. It came across my feed, and so I think that's why they're so scared now, because of the type of, I guess, support he's getting online. This is part 1. Stay tuned for part 2 of Manufacturing Islamophobia.